right. This is it. Check one, check two, check 94, check who's at the door. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell. I'm coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Oh, my headphones kind of slid off, but we're gonna put them back on, and we're gonna sing this song. It's called the Cannabis Coffee Hour, and I'm your host, Rob Cantrell. I'm a comedian. I do comedy on television sometimes, and a lot of times live, but not during the pandemic. I got a nice coffee here. This is Mud, actually. Mud coffee. It's not that dude that's on those YouTube videos. They're like, what's in your cup? It's not coffee. No, this coffee is actually called Mud, New York Mud. And I like their coffee. Shout out. They had a coffee truck that I would always see at Prospect Park. And then there was a coffee shop. I think they're in Lower East Side, but I don't know. Pandemic shook everything up, man. It's just one big salad got tossed out there in New York City. So all the businesses and everything's who's around, who's back, who's not. Comedy, doing stand-up is wild. Delta's firing up. I'm dodging the Delta. I'm double vaxxed. I'll get a booster in my nuts. I don't care. I'm ready for this thing to be over. But it's still creeping. So I am doing shows. I did a rooftop show. I felt good about that. I did a little small venue last night, but I was in and out and I wore a mask and I'm vaxxed. But Monday was dope. This coffee is great. Shout out to Mud. They have a hippie blend. Check them out. I would recommend these beans. If they're not as hardcore as Stumptown, but Stumptown is just, I would say, is like just got a really good bean. The way I like a mild, I like a medium roast. I don't like that glossy thing, but I don't mind it. I mean, I try everything, but if you want to hit right on the mark, it's medium roast with a good bean, cold brew, like I did it right here. But I change it up sometimes. Man, driving, these Dunkin' Donuts have been helping me out on the road. There was a couple times where I was feeling super tired and I was just like, okay, I know what to do. I know my coffee game so well. I was just like, I just need a single iced coffee with a shot of espresso, and that'll get me right back in the game. And it worked. If you're ever like on the road and you're feeling a little wary, sometimes regular coffee does it, but if I want to get like driving in New York, get in the game, sometimes I need a little espresso to get that running. I've been taking the subway too, but it broke down on me. That bummed me out. I took it to the show on Monday. It was over in Williamsburg at this cool studio called Studio 111. I think the dude, it's just a big open space. I think they do weddings there. I think they do, but they do films and movies and commercials. There's like all these spaces around, but in order to rent them, you got to do it right. And if you're going to rent them and not make money, it's kind of a waste for everybody. But when they're rented and done right, like this place had this dope rooftop and they set it up and they had a screen and they were showing short movies. Shout out to Sid and Mike, man. Sid and Mike is on IG. They are two actors, comedic actors, and comedians. And they have a great, it's a great, funny IG web series called Sid and Mike. And I know High Times was carrying it for a while. But they're doing really well. And then they wanted to have a live show. So they reached out and booked me. And it was the dopest show. I had a blast. All I had to do was like 10 minutes up top. They had a couple sketches running. So it wasn't the easiest. It was like on a rooftop, but they actually paid me and gave me a fat joint. So shout out to them. They were quality people to work with. Uh, check us out at our Patreon if you want to see the full videos of some of these shows. You know, I have Bill Burr up there. I'm talking to him, and that was like the week before he did Saturday Night Live. And then I got Mike Doty from Soul Coughing, which is a great musician. I'm proud of that episode, especially Neil Fallon episode. The Dima Durchin just did this artist, my old friend, man. He's just killing it in the art game, and I had him on, and that was a fun podcast. I just want to say thanks. I see the numbers going up, but you can support the Patreon at Rob Cantrell Coffee is the Patreon. It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. And you can watch full videos. You can see me huffing herb and talking to my friends. And we're going to expand. And as technology moves forward, I want to do live streams. I want to do at coffee shop joints, you know, but I also want to do this on the road when I'm just in my hotel room and enjoying a cup of coffee and sparking up a little herb. The show last night was not, it was like a small place in Williamsburg that I always do. It's a little joint. And it's weekly, but they put me up and I bring new jokes. Just that's just a part of the gig. And I went over there and you know, I think Delta's just keep the numbers weren't crazy. Like there was people out, but people were kind of you know, wary of the lockdown. But it was in a young part of town. So there was still, you know, 20 somethings being 20 somethings wanting to go out, rock and roll, hoochie cooch. But my friend gave me some great cannabis here. So so the gig was good. And the set was fun. And I'm in stand-up, I'm doing new material. I'm working mostly like offshoot rooms locally that I know I can kind of get in and get out and kind of not be holded to anything. You know, I do like when I can just let my freak flag fly with stand-up comedy, and a lot of like the TV and, you know, all that, which is cool. And I definitely want to do another television set. But you know, I'm really always looking to be the funniest and being the most, I don't know, there's a pocket there where it feels new, but you're also kind of an expert at it. And that's where I think the sweet part of the bat is with anything, you know, when you're still opening your mind to, you know, in Buddhism, I've been meditating like a motherfucker. That should be a t-shirt, meditating like a motherfucker. Not to brag. It's not like I've been levitating, or it's just, it does give me another look when I get angry about stuff or upset. Like it gives me another level to having a bird's eye view. And I think that's a lot about getting high, is kind of that beginner's mind and, you know, experiencing ego death, as they say. You can't ever totally experience it. But when you get out of that mind thought and this is me and all that, when you're really, you know, a part of nature, homeboy or girl, you're the mountain, you're the stream that runs into the river that goes into the ocean. As we all are, we're all a part of it. And that's what's so trippy about these times. You know, Afghanistan, I don't want to get political, but that's been bumming me out. And that fear has been there. And I check in on it. And I just don't know if it's, you know, I've been doing a little bit of stoics. You know, you can't let all that stuff like bog you down, man. I really think that you have to be genuinely positive in the moment. That's the thing I was digging on this morning, meditating, was like, no point of reference. Like, stop saying the beginning or the end or good or bad. The point of reference is this moment. And within this moment is infinity. And so many things can happen. You could change you with your creativity and looking at things differently and experience. Whatever you're gonna experience, you're gonna experience it without any filter, whether it's death or breakup or addiction or fame or love. You're gonna experience all of it. But if you can slow down, you can really, really enjoy it and kind of see it for what it is, hopefully. And I don't know that's what I've been pumping this song. I mean, everybody, all the super hipsters kiss Faith No More's ass. And Mike Patton, the singer and stuff. Like, that's super hipster cred back in my day. Like, yeah. And he still is. He's a great artist. Like, but I like all those jams. He doesn't have like top 40 jams, but the one that did break through is one of the most epic songs, and it's called Epic. And it was, rap rock and roll, which is a really bad combo most of the time. But when done right, all combos work. There's a time and place for everything. And Epic, that song, man, you want it all, but you can't have it. It's in your face, but you can't grab it. What is it? Now say, what is it? Love that shit. It's a great song. Just metaphysically, like, everybody's reaching for all this fame and attention and money and power and control and safety and love and acceptance. But when you go inside, it's kind of like none of that. You can't grab any of it. You can, but it's just a thing. It's just matter that's just going to keep on moving past this moment. So the thing is just the wonderment, just staring at the wonder of it all. That's kind of the gig and vibe I've been vibing out on, was Faith No More. And then they do a cover of Easy, which is kind of easy because it's such a great song. But I will say that Mike Patton covered it with dignity and not too much irony, which was a lot of like 90s humor. Was, oh, isn't it ironic I like this, or I like MC Hammer, or isn't it isn't it erotic that I like? Well, if you've seen the Pumps and the Bump video, oh, that's definitely spam. Get. Oh my God, I got in my earphones. My phone is connected to my laptop, and then I got the earphone. So that fucking that bunk ass non-call just went into I love that anger. See, you saw it build it up. I gotta let go. What does that mean? Getting frustrated. But it is frustrating. That the spam callers and then the delivery guys in New York with the motorcycles, man, pretty much all these bikes are going 60 miles per hour. I saw a bad accident right in front of and I was having a great day. This dude must have broke his hip, man. This dude on a bike that was souped up with the double battery, and in the arms, like the hand grips with the gloves attached to the bike, delivery guy, and this guy was making a right turn and just clipped this dude. And like, those bikes are just going across all day long. Like, I knew this was gonna start happening, because you catch it now, like they'll come on the sidewalk and they're going like 30 miles per hour, and you're like, bruh, and they're just fucking trying to get a baked dude's burrito that was too lazy to walk down the street to get it. But I get delivery is nice. Delivery and room service, whew, it's hard to beat that stuff. They'll make you broke quick, but and they're not the best use of money. But when they're kicking in, when I was traveling with Tracy, when we would do casinos, all the room service was free. So that was sick, man. I was getting like pancakes and salmon every morning and like coffee and shit, wheeled in. That's and then you don't have that's how I can't wait to get back to hotels. I can't wait to take this on the road. I really think it's bubbling up, people. If you want to be a sponsor, the numbers are just the numbers. It's just happening. I can't say it's the biggest, but I'm sure one day. I mean, I know all these cats that have big podcasts, and I haven't even hit them up to be on it. So I always wanted to grow something positive, simple, something I could do just me and you, and then now and then have some cool people come through. But I don't need to be beholden to other people. I reached out to a couple cats, but it's kind of busy right now, and yeah, there's some special people uh, that I want to get on. If there's somebody you want me to talk to, or you got a contact, hit me up at contact@Rob Cantrell. Or, dude, the Instagram is getting clean and mean. Shout out, we got a great new logo made by my man Doogie Horner, who will be on the podcast soon. Comedian Doogie Horner, and he did a great fucking logo. And he's also a great comedian, and he also has written books. He was on like my first guest on this talk show I did called Keep It Surreal. And he was one of the first guests, and he was awesome. I've always loved his art and his comedy and just him as a person. He's a very super chill cat. Yes, I'm drinking this coffee. It's going down so good. Iced coffee is just but then it goes, then you get to the tipping point where you're like, I can't have any more coffee. I'm literally vibrating the same vibration of whatever the super zone is. Just get into that cat purr zone. I always had to stand up it like the cat is connected to the universe, because what is the purr? Like when a cat purrs, nobody talks about the purr. And I'm always like, that's when it's completely in line with the universe, completely in sync, and it just starts vibrating. Good vibrations, man. Good vibrations. I'm feeling on good vibrations. Beach Boys. That's like their number one jam. I'm not like a Beach Boys fanatic. There's like a couple. I love that surf guitar, and harmonies are dope, but they don't have a ton of them. They got like 3 or 4 that's kind of arty and trippy and dope. And then a lot of it's just like pancake syrup. They were definitely a part of the old music business model, as was Michael Jackson. And I think all that's breaking down, and I think the quality of music is kind of getting shook out from the bottom, but everybody's doing it. And I think some more authentic stuff will shine. And, and just getting somebody else super duper rich. I don't know. The music industry is a really trippy thing when you start breaking it down and looking at art and looking at content. Everybody's becoming such a content connoisseur and maker in our society. Like, yeah, are we going towards a great renaissance? Like, yeah, I do think editing, like, and doing live streams, and I haven't even started fucking with Twitch. I got this old TV set filter. I like that. This is Cannabis Coffee Hour. This is me talking for about 45 minutes to an hour about life in general and coffee. Making your own cold brew. I love it. It's pretty much the standard good home drink. The thing is like, and I'm not like beholden to just one cup. I get like 3 or 4, 5 cups out of it, right? Usually I'm good at one full French press for the day. But then I did make this home style tea. I made it again. I've been making that tea If I just like a little bit of lime, a little bit of lemon, a little bit of green tea, good honey, melted, and then in the afternoon have that shit on ice after it's been brewing for a day in the fridge or in the sun. It it's not as harsh. Like I've bought those things at Starbucks, but it feels weird because it literally is just like water with a hint of honey and whatever you want in it, whether it's lavender or ginger or red pepper, you know, everything absorbs. I've just been waking up so grateful. I've been meditating and I've been journaling. Well, I can't say I've been hardcore journaling. I do get like all my set lists out and I go over that, and that's still fun. And I'm finding new pockets of weirdness and coolness in places that I could be funny in a new, different way. It's hard because there's so many people doing comedy right now, but I've just gotten to a point now that I'm like, I'm just gonna ride my weird shit out. I'm just gonna push it, push it out the way I want to push it out in terms of performing when and where, you know. So check out my calendar. That's where I'm gonna be performing. I'm gonna lean into the calendar and the mailing list as we move forward into the future. And on the podcast, on the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I mean, it's a perfect podcast. I mean, you got coffee. I love iced coffee. This is made. I made this, and then this cannabis was given to a friend after a stand-up show, and it was a gift. I needed some, and he was like, "Hey, Rob, here's some." Um, and I was like, "Yo, this dude's awesome." And not that I don't want that doesn't make you awesome, but what happened was so it's like getting mad legal here, and there's a bodega, and I bought some from a bodega, and it's not good. It bummed me out. We definitely need dispensaries. Like I just, with all the fentanyl and weird shit, I'm just like, I would like a little bit of officialness. I like things. I'm too old to fuck around, man. I want some outdoor grown cannabis, organic, outdoor grown health store right next to the wheatgrass as it should be, nurtured with love, not under fucking other sketched out drugs in some corner. Like, but the stuff is getting grown better. I know Massachusetts has been treating the herb really good, and that the dispensary system has been working really well, and you get good quality. And I was really impressed with Michigan. And those are places that need jobs, and they definitely need to chill. Um, but I don't know. Sometimes herb hypes people up too. So I don't know, man. Be careful out there. And I'm just trying to be kinder and nicer, even in the bad decisions, like the tougher decisions. Like I'm finding myself with just slowing down, catching myself before I kind of like ramp up about something or anything. I'm like, I'm gonna let it play out. Like I'm gonna try not to control any of this. Like you made your decision. This is what you did. This is what you're doing. I'm gonna do me, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help you. If you help me, ask me for help, or I need basic help. But yeah, I'm just excited about the future and concentrating on these projects. I'm getting really close. I know I've been talking up this music project, but I'm really close to packaging it all up, and I want to do it all DIY, and I want to have all the royalties and everything from this one. I worked with a label on my last stand-up album, and they are great and awesome, but they still take a honk. The tracks that I worked on, these other ones, like, I built it from the ground up. So I'm just excited to see if I can make it play in the market, and shooting the videos. Everything I'm learning, like even editing, it's a pain in the ass to edit the podcast. And it's not even that pain. It's time consuming, and it does like wear on my computer a lot, but I'm getting better with using an external drive and learning how to do that better when editing and storing like these huge files. And by doing that, like I'm just getting comfortable with chopping up in GarageBand. I'm getting comfortable with chopping up in Final Cut Pro. Um, I just learned like how to take like video. I mean, how to take audio. Like if I shoot something on a good camera, and let's say I don't want the video, I know how to just get the audio from Final Cut Pro. Like that'd be great for the podcast, search certain situations when I'm out in the field, just to know. Because sometimes I do like just doing audio, and then with animation and these new logos, we're gonna just fucking go. I'm just excited. So if you're a cannabis company and want to get on the ground floor, you know when the thing turns, you can't. The door closes, so you got to get in there when the door's still open. So go to contact at Rob Cantrell if you're in the cannabis business and you want to sponsor me. That's what I need. I need a good, solid, with a good heart, kind business people that own a cannabis company that could fund me cannabis, because I'm tired of paying for it and lining it up. I need my own, and we'll you know what we can do with this, because the numbers are going up, people. Going Space Mountain all the way with the Cannabis Coffee Hour. Fuck everybody else's podcast. That was from actually Combat Jack. Combat Jack was such a good hip hop podcast in Brooklyn, in Queens, original hip hop. If you like Drink Champs, you got to give it up for the original Combat Jack. But he would start his like fuck your other podcasts. Like they would talk all kinds of mad shit. Just because the internet's just like pick up basketball, man. It's just like anybody could get on here and start talking mad shit. So you kind of have to have a schoolyard mentality. And I definitely could do that with this podcast, because it's what other podcast? It's the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We got finely ground cannabis. I got a great glass piece. If you're a glass company, pipe company, dude, I know all these brands. Let's start talking. I know you know we can get it. You can get a bong sponsorship. We could just have this all sponsored with nice glass. You know who I'm talking to. I see you on Instagram. You see me on Instagram. There's only one Cannabis Coffee Hour, and it's mine. And it's the cannabis. Well, somebody else will. After I said that, somebody else will bite it. But I don't know. Podcasts are super simple to do, but they're also super hard because you got to keep on going and going and going. But I always like talking. I could talk to myself. I could Billy Idol this, dancing with myself all day long. I am trying to read more books. I got these tripod books, these science fiction for. You want to? What is this? This cat, John Christopher, the Tripod Collection. I read it as a kid, and I want to get back into it. But I think it has a little bit to do with singularity. No, but it's a lot about conformity. And I think conformity, that's why these governments and everybody is having so much trouble right now, because I think the human condition is not to conform in a lot of ways, because, that's how we evolve and push forward. And sometimes these old ways that worked for other things, 100 years aren't working now, and actually become detrimental after a minute. But I think governments are good. I think we need to just take care of each other. But I think we need to work with, like, instead of thinking bigger picture, think smaller picture. That's what I'm doing. Just cleaning up around the apartment, cleaning my space, removing things out of my life, removing thoughts, removing ashtrays, cleaning up my smoking area a little bit better, cleaning up my notes, getting my laptop kind of ship shape, working on that kind of shit. And the thing is, I find old stuff. I feel like, does anybody do that? Like, I just feel like a new person after a while. I'm like, who was that dude? Or who am I right now? Like, oh yeah, I'm that dude. And oh yeah, there's this, there's that. Like, that's why I always took care of my health, or I took kind of the decision to do comedy because I knew at like 48, I didn't want to make that decision to do comedy. Like, I was like, how can I set myself up to be psyched? And to tell you the truth, I'm really psyched to where I'm at, what I've done, and who I've become. You know, I get to talk about music and comedy all day long. I performed in front of huge shows. I've gotten paid good money to do these things that are fun, like fun. When work is a pleasure, life is a joy. That's a quote. Um, and this is a pleasure to do. I love doing this podcast. It just gives me a moment of zen, you know, to bring in the whole week. But it takes a minute. I mean, I edit all the podcast, and I'm dealing with the video. I'm dealing with the Patreon. Rob Cantrell Coffee's the Patreon. Check that out. Um, music wise, okay, I'm meditating and smoking weed sometimes. Last night at 4 a.m., I woke up, and I usually have learned how to like stop my mind from thinking. Like I going right to the grateful list. That's a great one. What you're great in life is right now, people getting the delta and funky shit going down. So life is number one, and then family and comedy, or you know, flip those all around. Matters where it is in the middle of the night. But last night, I was like, I'll have a little bit of herb. So I had a little bit of herb, and then it started raining, and I just sat on the couch looking out the windows, and the apartment was just dark. And it just was the most cleansing, cooling, awesome feeling. And it was so empty and clean. And it just all came down, and it wasn't it was splashing a little bit on me. So the air was like clear and clean and refreshing. And I was like in the middle of the night, and it was just like, it was so relaxing. Cause I moved from the bed to the couch, and sometimes the couch, uh, just those last 2 hours, sometimes I like to change it up, or the last hour, or sometimes I'll just do it for 45 minutes. I'll just lay down on the couch after I take a pee, and I'll sleep there, if I'm not sleeping, and then I'll get going to sleep, and then I'll end up in my bed. Um, but yeah, it was just a kind of super surreal, clairvoyant almost. They say you're most clairvoyant in the middle of the night, like the moonlight, man. The moonlight is where when you can see the future, when you can tap into. Now I don't know if you can you can feel. So it's nice if you ever do wake up. That's kind of a cool thing. It's just to vibe out on the quietness and the stillness. And you know, that's just where all the magic is in the stillness. The minute you can stop the monkey mind. I mean, the chattering mind, the I gotta do this. But really, it's like you gotta deal with this moment. That's kind of the vibe I'm heading at. Uh, you know what else? Music wise, Dire Straits. I wanted to talk about Dire Straits. I've been playing some Dire Straits. If you want to get romantic, put some Dire Straits on. If you want to listen to some, take a nap, Dire Straits. If you want to smoke some herb, Dire Straits. Uh, not all the time. They're a lot like Steely Dan. Like it is a little bit elevated rock and roll music style in terms of production, because it sounds like a bar band, but it's doing almost like a novelesque writing tone. You know, he's telling a story, almost like Dylan, almost like Bob Seger, Bob Dylan, Bob Seger, and then you know the boss, Bruce, Bruce. Um, so yeah, the Dire Straits, I guess it's Mark Knopfler, and he has a really like lazy in the pocket. It's not lazy. It's just it takes its time and it knows who it is. That's why they call Eric Clapton slow hand. But also, like, he looks like he's being slow by being very efficient, I think. Or, it's that thing of hustling slow or hurrying at your own pace is kind of the vibe I'm going with my art lately. Like, I know this shit ain't perfect. I just got a zoom filter with the 1970s. It does look kind of dope. Let's see, it could work out and make some good visuals. I do need to get better with clipping out, but I don't know if I'm all about this like super stream rollout. All the lettering and font seems the same on a lot of these podcasts. I just want to do some different shit, you know. Definitely have an espresso machine. Definitely have a band from time to time. Definitely do an on location hike in the woods. Maybe a roastery, get some beans fresh roasted. And the merch is coming. And I think the merch I'm going to do only through the Patreon. So check out Rob Cantrell Coffee at the Patreon. But Dire Straits, I gotta say, man, as it's crazy controversial too. Like they say the F word in like one of their biggest songs, which is an awful word. But in the 80s, it was thrown around. In the 90s, it was thrown around. And yeah, it was, it was sad in that sense, when you look back at it all. But the song like speaks to kind of this like blue collar, I don't know, working class not gets away, but are, it's, I don't want to be that type of podcast where I think I got a delay on this thing. Oh, did we go too long? That is trippy. It's like 1 second delay. I hope the recording, I'm not sure because my computer is sweating. I don't know why it was sweating, but it's doing its push-ups over here. But yeah, it's just times have changed. But that whole song's kind of like somebody, moving televisions, looking at rock stars. Like that's the way you do it. And it's just not even saying whether it's good or bad. It's just kind of painting a picture of the times. And I think that's what a lot of like music does, whether it be hip hop or, psychedelics, that Dragon's for Real in 1969 in Berkeley, during that Dead show, and that's why they're singing about it. But this has been a fun one. I'm a little worried about the delay here, and I hope the sound comes through. But I've been checking out Dire Straits, and I've been checking out Billy Strings. Yeah, Billy Strings. I did a deep dive. This kid is really young and from Michigan, was like a prodigy of the banjo. And now he's like fronting his own bands, and he does cool Eagles covers with James Brown, but Jackson Brown. Running on Empty was the one I saw just the other day. That was great. So shout out to Billy Strings. Should have him on the podcast if anybody has a connect with that. I think he likes herb. And I know I got some fans in Michigan. Shout out to the Big Glove, Smell the Glove. World tour will come soon. I'll get out there. I'm doing some little shows. You can check out robcantrell.com. Check out live dates. Sign up for the newsletter. It's coming hard, fast, and misspelled. I love you all, and have a great day. Have a great cup of coffee. Have a great life. We out. I am out.